2012 is Changyu's 120th anniversary. It is not only a milestone, but also a new start of Changyu. In August 1912, Mr. Sun Yat-sen went to the north via Yantai, and he paid a special visit to Changyu Wine Company. He also gave inscription of Pingzhou Lijuan to Changyu. In 1917, Mr. Kang Youwei wrote poem for Changyu wines. Decade later, he came to Yantai again, and he was treated with Changyu wine. He wrote one more poem to pair the first one. In 1932, Chiang Xueliang, Kang Xiangxi, Sun Ziwen, and other Kuomintang politicians congratulated on Changyu's 40th anniversary with their inscriptions. In 1956, Chairman Mao Zedong gave instruction to Changyu. Changyu should develop the production of wine and wine so that people can drink more wine. In 1956, Premier Zhou Enlai agreed to allocate 650,000 yuan to Changyu for increasing its wine quality, which in fact laid good foundation for the quality of Changyu wine. In 1992, Jiang Zemin personally came to congratulate on Changyu's 100th anniversary, and he gave good inscription to Changyu. In 2004, Jack Welch, the world #1 CEO, attended China Entrepreneur Summit, and he collected a bottle of Changyu Century Cellar dry red wine. In 2009, Mr. Rogers, the investment master, came to visit China, and he collected a bottle of Changyu Everbao Premier wine. Rogers said, "I have been drinking Changyu wine for a long time. If I have a chance, I drink it. I have been holding Changyu B shares since 1999, and will leave it to my 5-year-old daughter." Buffett received a precious gift from Yantai on September 29, 2010, in Beijing, and it was Changyu Century Cellar dry red wine. October 26, 2010 is the UN Day at Shanghai Expo. On behalf of the UN, Shan Zukang, the Deputy Secretary of the UN, collected Changyu Century Cellar dry red wine forever. This is the first and the only bottle of Chinese wine that the UN has collected up till now. In 1987, OIV, International Organization of Wine and Wine, gave the title of International Wine and Wine City to Yantai due to Changyu's contribution to the wine industry. Rupert Tinlot, the president of OIV at the time, said Changyu Jiebaina and Changyu Brandy gave me deep impression. Several of my colleagues have given them incredible comments. Jonathan Ryan, a British royal sommelier, came to visit Chateau Changyu Everbao globally in 2007. He said Changyu Everbao has high-quality grapes, advanced equipment, and more the important is they have the desire to succeed. Yves Bernard, the president of OIV, International Organization of Wine and Wine, came to visit Chateau Changyu Everbao in 2009. He said this wine can compete to the quality of world-class Chengdus. Like that of Bordeaux in France, Changyu Everbao has set a standard for international Chengdus. He praised the Changyu Jiebaina as one of the top wine brands in the world. Andrew Larson, the best sommelier of the world, came to visit Chateau Changyu Everbao in 2011. He said in objective and fair blind tasting, some vintages of Everbao wine have the potential to compete to that of the famous Chengdus in Bordeaux. Ruth Morseau, who is the enologist of TXB Europe, came to Chengdu in October 2011, and he said the quality of Chengdu wine does not lose to European wine. It is expected to be number 1 in 10 years. In November 2011, Li Zhiyan, who is the first wine master in Asia, came to visit Chengdu and tasted Chengdu Central Cellar dry red wine. She expressed the idea that Chengdu Central Cellar dry red wine can represent the highest level of Chinese winemakings, and she would like to recommend Chengdu wine to people from all around the world to taste. Stephen Sprayer is the promoter of Paris wine tasting in 1976. When he attended Hong Kong Wine Prospect Conference in November 2011, he tasted Chengdu Jiebeina wine, and he said this wine is full-bodied with smooth taste. It is perfect. In 1915, Chengdu won 4 gold medals at Panama International Expo. San Francisco Daily in the US reported it as the most incredible matter, and it also commented on the award products as bearing special flavor. On June 6, 1915, New York Times published an average report on Chang Bishu with the title of Dialogue with Chinese Morgan, and introduced him as the richest financier in China. A week later, New York Times published another report of Chang Bishu with the title of China's Rockefeller. In 1939, Winemaking magazine compared Chengdu Jiebeina wine and foreign wines and then concluded that Jiebeina has totally reached all the criteria of premium wines. In 1954, Premier Zhou Enlai attended Geneva Conference. He sent Chengdu special fine brandy to politician leaders of different countries as a gift. Chengdu brandy was called by the representatives of the conference as Oriental Cognac. It was recorded by international issues as Chengdu special fine brandy represented the scientific progress of the People's Republic of China. In 2009, British Financial Times listed 5 potential global brands from food and beverage sectors in new market countries, and Chengdu was on the list. In 2009, an article on Wall Street Journal pointed out that Morgan Stanley listed Chengdu as one of the shares from which they could benefit the increase of Chinese consumption. China News Agency reported on June 5, 2012, that China used Chengdu Everbao Chardonnay dry white wine and Chengdu Central Cellar dry red wine to treat visiting Russian President Putin. This is the 29th time that Chengdu Everbao wine was served at the state banquets in 2 years. Before this, Chengdu Everbao wines have been served at the state banquets to welcome the US President Obama, British Prime Minister Cameron, former Russian President Medvedev, German Chancellor Merkel, and Canadian Prime Minister Harper. According to annual company report of Chengdu, Chengdu has achieved nearly 6 times more of sales in 10 years. At the end of 2011, the market value of Chengdu listed company reached 52.8 billion yuan. By the end of 2011, Chengdu has finished its layout of 300,000 moves of vineyard bases, which accounts for about a quarter of the nation's total vineyard. Chengdu is the company who owns the most quantity and distributions of vineyard. Chengdu owns the first national level of technology center in wine industry. At the end of 2011, Chengdu has 181 high-tech staff including master enologists and engineers. In 2011, Chengdu had 3,700 salespersons and 5,300 distributors, forming a nationwide sales network. The export of Chengdu Jiebeina wine started from 2005. In 2008, Changyu Jiebana was honored as one of the top 30 global brands by Sayo on its 9th International Food and Beverage Exposition. In a brand released of the 4th China's Best Brand ranking in 2011, and Changyu was at the place of number 25. In 2002, Changyu built the first professional chateau in China, Chateau Changyu Castle, which opened the Chateau wine era in China. Chateau Changyu Golden Valley Ice Wine Liaoning and Chateau Changyu Everybao Global Beijing opened separately in 2006 and 2007. In 2009, Changyu included 4 foreign chateaus in its alliance with Changyu, Keller Estate, New Zealand, Chateau Liversaint, Bordeaux, France, Chateau Philippe, Le Harty, Burgundy, France, and Chateau Changyu Pioneer, Sicily, Italy. The 3 new chateaux of Changyu in the West are scheduled to be opened in 2012, which are Chateau Changyu Moser, XV Ninja, Chateau Changyu Baron Baboya Xinjiang, and Chateau Changyu Reina Shanxi. In 2012, Changyu Pioneer International Chateau Alliance launched a business offering to seek cooperation with top 10 global wine companies, so as to provide consumers the most effective wines from 70 wine regions in the world. In 2012, Changyu will start the project of Changyu International Wine City. This project will be model of modern winemaking base in the world, the first-rate wine growing model area in the world, and the first 5A wine industry tourist attraction in China. Based on 120 years of history, Changyu will continue its legend. Always be pioneer, Changyu.